Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Pop Anime Comics, and we're going to be talking about NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, or however you want to call it. It's whatever. I personally don't care what you call it, but it was a fantastic show. So let's start with the pre-show. I'm looking at my phone just to get the times and everything, so I accurately deal with it. So I'm not a big fan of pre-shows. I found that the pre-show was kind of like the NXT. Let's go over all the great people in NXT and have them tell their story and what NXT meant. And I just think that for really smart wrestling fans, as well as for any wrestling fan, I don't think that point needs to be driven home, because if you've been watching NXT since its inception, you get the idea of what NXT has done. And if you're like loving NXT, the Seth Rollins, Big E, Bo Dallas, Neville, I think we get it. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, I think we get it. Finn Balor's another one to throw in there. I think we get it. We don't need that to be shoved down our throats. And so my problem with the pre-show is that I felt like it was trying to sell me something I already know. And, half of it was good. I liked Big E's part. I like Neville. I like his attitude. His character is fantastic. But then, the Sasha Banks and the Carmella thing, it just didn't sell it for me. So I'm not a big fan of pre-shows. I don't really get why we do them. I feel like it kind of minimizes it and it sells something, but that's just me. And, I don't think it's the right way how to kick it off. If we actually look at the full, 3.5 hours, which it really was, the pre-show doesn't do it for me. But besides the pre-show, I thought we kicked it off the right way with Andrea Alames, or Cien, as I like to call him, against Johnny Gargano. I thought that was a great match. I thought it was the right way to do it, because it wasn't a title match. It wasn't like you need that big pop, but I thought the match was a phenomenal pop, because I thought it was a war between the two of them. It was 13 and 30 seconds, and for all 13 minutes of that match, or almost 14 minutes actually, I was glued to it, because you got this massive story with Johnny Gargano and Mr. Wrestling here, Johnny Wrestling, and how he just got screwed over by his partner. And this is his kind of redemption and rebounding, and we see that. And then Cien has typically in NXT events has been on a losing streak, but he's got this great new manager, and so you got that element, and so you got really a fantastic story where you got two guys who are kind of in unique situations, and they both need to win, and they were just fighting. And I mean, Johnny Gargano and Cien are fantastic wrestlers as is, and just that match and the last 4 minutes of that match, oh my God, give me wrestling like that every single week on NXT, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. I mean, WWE would be killing it. That type of wrestling where they were going finisher, and it was to the last millisecond, the kickouts and the reversals and the moves, and you were just oh my God. That match is the right way how to start off NXT. And they should do that every single time, because clearly that's what gets the fans going and really drives home the point and kind of sets this is what NXT is. And that's what Cien and Johnny Gargano do. They're fantastic. And if either one of them goes up to the main roster, I mean, please bring them and use them the right way, because they're fantastic. And then we transition to, typically in wrestling you got your ups and your dips. But then we go into the Sanity match. And the Sanity match, oh my God, versus Authors of Pain, amazing. Just fantastic. They come out, and it's a brawl. It's a fight. It's they just start fighting. Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf just start fighting both Razor and Akram from the Authors of Pain. Then Eric Young sets up a table. Kind of Eric Young's involved in that. And then the only person involved in the entire match, then the bell rings, the match starts. The only person involved is Alexander Wolf. Killian Dane never tags in, and then Eric Young gets him on the apron, and he tags in to Alexander Wolf. And now EY's in the match, and then that's going on, and the ref's down, and then all of a sudden Nikki Cross gets into the match. And meanwhile, the Authors of Pain are dominating them, and then Alexander Wolf makes a big thing, and he cleans house. And then Nikki Cross saves Eric Young from pretty much probably what would have ended the match, and then he's saved, and then all of a sudden the ref's looking the other way, and then Nikki Cross gets in the match, and the ref's trying to block her from fighting Paul Ellering. Oh my God. And then pretty much following that, Nikki Cross then goes after one of the Authors of Pain. He catches her, and then Killian Dane pushes her, and one of the Authors of Pain through a table. The ref doesn't see it. Perfect psychology, because Eric Young, 20 minutes prior or so, or maybe 10 minutes prior, I should say, sets up that thing right before the match, and bam, right to the table, takes out one of the Authors of Pain, and then Alexander Wolf and Eric Young pretty much finish off the other one, and then they capture the tag team titles and defeat the undefeatable team that has been built since they won the Dusty Road Classic. That right there is just fantastic wrestling and storyline, and now we're going to have probably the next 3 months full of matches between the two of them. And then to top it off, you have Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly from Ring of Honor come in and destroy Sanity. But you would tend to think it would stop there, because that would set up a great story. But they also destroy the Authors of Pain, which sets up an entirely new angle for the entire tag team division and allows NXT to bring up some guys from that tag team division into the main roster. Not that they need it, but bam, bingo! They just brought in 2 new guys that create a whole new dynamic for the tag team division in NXT that allows them to bring up guys and move guys up and kind of, I guess, promote them, for lack of a better word, because they can fill in the gap with the 2 new guys, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. Brilliant. Just brilliant storytelling, wrestling, and everything in between, and setting up an actual storyline that works, because now you got yourself a nice triangle. Then you got Aleister Black versus Hideo Itami. I could care less about this match. I thought it was a good match. I think NXT matches are fantastic, but I didn't really think any value was in this. All I got was that Hideo Itami is kind of back on the right track, even though, he didn't exactly win the match. He actually lost the match, but it was a nice kick fest. It was a nice, 2 guys who are kind of evenly matched, and their style was matched. I thought it was a decent match. I just didn't find any merit in the entire match. And so that's just my opinion on the match. But, I got nothing to say about it. I just think that it really does a nice job of showcasing what they both can do. Now, Asuka defeats Ember Moon. Shocking. First off, this match on paper looked like Asuka was going to destroy Ember Moon. But Ember Moon, she proved the point tonight. The night of the match, in Wrestler of the Night, Ember Moon, hands down. That girl can wrestle. She brought Asuka the closest to defeat on 4 different occasions in this match. God bless her. She is the only women's wrestler who has, in 504 plus days, has brought Asuka the closest to defeat as of NXT Brooklyn 3. So, and then just great match. The first 9 minutes of this match weren't really that good. Last 5 minutes of that match, oh my God. Probably some of the best wrestling that's been pushed out by WWE all year long. In 4 to 5 minutes, because the last 4 to 5 minutes of that match were just phenomenal. And the amount of energy and hype and, you're glued to it. So, the first 5 minutes of that match were extremely slow. And while they were entertaining, there really wasn't much of a pop. But towards the end of that match, in the last 5 minutes, sold it. Done. Best wrestling, clearly, of the night. And that's something, even though Asuka won, which is great, because it just adds more and it creates more stability. And Asuka's defeat, eventually when that comes, is going to sell somebody and kind of pass the torch. And it wasn't the right time to do that. But, fantastic, because Ember Moon accomplished, and WWE accomplished what they wanted to do with Ember Moon tonight, where they made her a superstar, and she is the superstar right now. More so than Asuka, where she is so over. Beautiful job. Talented, great writing, great wrestling, great everything, because it makes Ember Moon that superstar. And she's now reached a new level where she's on par with Asuka's level of being a superstar. So I'm very excited for that with NXT. And then the final match I want to talk about is Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Roode, new NXT champion. Drew McIntyre is making the most of his return to WWE. Bobby Roode showcases why he's glorious. Bobby Roode sold it. I love the storyline with Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre. I would like to see more of the two of them go at it. You know, they were both in TNA at one point, and Bobby Roode is fantastic. Would love to see Bobby Roode on the main roster, personally. You know, get Bobby Roode out of NXT. He doesn't need to be there. You know, I get why he's there, but he shouldn't be. Drew McIntyre shouldn't be in NXT either. But they're doing great there, and they're fantastic. And Drew McIntyre is proving how he's matured. And now he's the NXT champion. It's a great match, you know, great reversals, shows how two guys really want to fight for this title. And I just thought it was really well done. And I think that, you know, really the goal here is that, you know, when we see the title change, we're not seeing the champion stick around much longer in NXT. And I think that's where it is. So I think that, you know, McIntyre is going to hold it for maybe 6 months at the most, and it's going to be called back up. But he's proving that he can handle it. And in many ways, this was a test for WWE. And then, you know, him holding the title is a test for when to bring him up and to really push him and hopefully push him the right way. And so I just thought the entire match was fantastic. I thought it was a real story. I thought there were certain parts where it was just stale, where there was like nothing was going on. But there, towards the end of that, you know, it's pretty clear that both guys were exhausted, both guys were fighting hard, and that they were really trying to drive this thing home, and they were putting it all out on the line. And it's really great. And just how he caught him, and just the amount of physicality in that match you could feel watching it. And then the other side to that match, and I put it up on Twitter, it's great, it's pinned to my Twitter account, which I'll talk about in 1 second, is I said, I wonder if Adam Cole will show up. Adam Cole shows up at the end after Drew McIntyre wins the NXT champion, starts attacking him. They're setting up Adam Cole versus Drew McIntyre. Adam Cole's going to eventually hold the NXT championship belt. That's pretty much where we're going. That's pretty much, you could have predicted that a mile out. It pretty much is going to be Ring of Honor. They got Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, or Fisher, however you want to call him. I'm not exactly sure. But they're pretty much setting up Ring of Honor's kind of invading, kind of not thing in NXT. So that's where we are. Beautiful job. Just beautiful job. Put it out on Twitter. I know exactly what's going to happen in wrestling for the most part. Anybody could have predicted it. It was pretty much a leak that Adam Cole is heading to Brooklyn. I mean, it's not that hard to figure that one out. Beautiful job. Nonetheless, I'm stoked. Eventually, I mean, if you look at it, you got AJ Styles, you got pretty much Gallows, you got Carl Anderson in WWE. It's only a matter of time before the Young Bucks come over, if they choose to. Kenny Omega is a good another one that WWE wants. You know, now you got Adam Cole, who is a former Bullet Club member. I mean, we're getting to the Bullet Club in WWE. You know, it's coming. It's not that hard to figure out. It's coming. And if when WWE wants to do it, they'll spend a boatload of money like they bought AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson. And you know, you got Finn Balor too. So I mean, who are we kidding? It's coming. It's coming, and it's going to be very, very interesting what they're going to do with it. Because when they want Kenny Omega, the money will be spent on Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and possibly somebody else. And then bring up Adam Cole, and bam, there you go. You got the Bullet Club. And you could do so much with that, and it'll be like the right way you should have done Nexus. Just saying. But that's my entire take on NXT TakeOver. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, because NXT TakeOver is fantastic. And if only SummerSlam could be as good as NXT TakeOver, which historically WWE, and I know that I'm cynical, but typically takeovers are better than the major pay-per-views. Because they actually do it the right way, because Triple H knows what the fuck he's doing. So that's all I got. But before you go, I do have a Twitter. It's at PopAnimeComics. Definitely follow me on Twitter. I tweet a lot. I tweet a lot about a lot of cool stuff. A lot of not cool stuff too, but you don't have to pay attention to the uncool stuff. Just look at the cool stuff because it's really cool. I also have a website where I write about anime and comics. I like writing. I review comics. I give honest opinions on what you should read and what you shouldn't, what you should expect in anime and what you shouldn't. So definitely check that out. I do have a podcast, interview the indie people on the wrestling scene, which is what probably a lot of people are interested in. But I also interview voice actors and comic writers, artists, and professional cosplayers. And whether you believe it or not, there is a connection between wrestling, anime, and comics. But you should listen to my podcast to find out what that is. Or watch a few more of my videos and you'll actually figure out sooner, because the New Day had a deal with Crunchyroll with the WWE Network for 3 months. You got it for $30. Hence, there's a connection. That was orchestrated right by WWE and Crunchyroll. So, and I was doing this way before that deal was out there. And I know I'm ranting, so I'm going to stop. But definitely check out all my stuff. Support it. Follow my podcast. It's Pop Anime Comics Lounge. And I'll put all the link stuff down below. Definitely check it out. Love to hear your thoughts on NXT TakeOver or my rants, whatever you choose to do. I'm pretty cool with it. I'm more than happy to have a discussion on this, as long as we don't get too hostile. Or, if we do, please try to offend people. It's the best way how to go in life. So I'll see you next time I do a video, which will probably be tomorrow night, documenting SummerSlam. Cynical, not cynical, however you want to take it. Don't really care. Till the next video, everybody, have a wonderful day, week, year, month, or whenever else you watch another one of my videos, and definitely subscribe or check out another one of my things that I do on the internet, because I do a lot of stuff. Till next time, everybody, have a wonderful, whatever, fill in the blank, how you choose, till you see my next video.